Hello friends, in this video I am going to talk about the transit of Jupiter in the sign of Sagittarius in conjunction with your natal planets. So as we all know that Jupiter is a highly beneficial planet and it expands the quality of the planet with whom it will conjunct, and it will bless the planet with whom it will conjunct. So Jupiter's transit is always considered as very beneficial and a great blessing to be in, and whichever house this Jupiter in the transit will aspect, those houses would also prosper during the transit. So Jupiter is going to transit into the common sign or the mixed sign. So it will behave differently in various signs wherever it is transiting. So you have to understand the categories of the signs, how it will behave in those signs. They have been divided into three categories. The first category is of the cardinal signs, and these are the signs of 1, 4, 7 and 10 rashis. The second category is of the fixed signs. These are of the signs of 2, 5, 8 and 11 rashis. And the third category is of the mixed signs or common signs, and these belong to 3, 6, 9 and 12 rashis. So Jupiter, when it enters into the cardinal signs or the char signs, it will behave very impulsively and on the basis of the circumstantial evidence. As we all know, Jupiter is the karka for education, wealth, knowledge, wisdom and wealth, marriage, happiness, comforts. So when it happens to enter into the cardinal signs, in that case, whenever you want to take decisions related to Jupiterian things, you would behave in a very impulsive manner. You would take the decisions very quickly on the basis of the circumstance. Suppose you are wanting to apply for higher education in some university and you are not able to decide. You happen to meet a friend and he tells you that go and apply in this university, it's a very good one. So he just motivated you, and on impulse you immediately decided to apply and you got admission in that university. But later on you found out that there were better universities also, and you should have researched for them, but now it was too late. So this is how Jupiter will behave in the cardinal signs. Now the second thing is when it enters into the fixed signs. Here Jupiter will take lot of time to decide, because here the ideas are very fixed. Suppose you want to apply for higher education and you have found a very good university outside your city of residence. So but you have this fixed idea that studying outside your city of stay is not good. In that case, you will take a lot of time to decide whether you should go out to study or not. So here the ideas are very fixed and the person takes lot of thinking before he decides upon something. Now the third category is the common signs or the mixed signs. These are very flexible signs, and here the decisions are based upon the experiences that the person has had, and the person can switch from his decision from one to the other one. Suppose you are again wanting to apply for some university outside, and you have met certain people who have studied from that university, or you have read about certain people who have studied from that university and they are doing very well in their current lives, and you have done your own research also, and based upon your research and your knowledge you will be able to apply to these universities and you will get success. So in the common signs, this Jupiter does really well. So now this was about the planets' behavior in certain signs. Now currently Jupiter is going to enter into the common sign, and that is the fiery sign also, which is of Sagittarius. So in the sign of Sagittarius, what happens when moon is already present? So Jupiter, when it conjuncts with your natal moon, so whatever things this moon is karka of, you would get an upliftment or you would get a blessing in those things. So moon is a karka of female, it's a karka of your emotions, of your home comforts, of your home life, of your mother, and of your happiness. So Jupiter will increase upon all those things. Moon is also about people, so you will become popular during this transit. It's an excellent transit to have. You will become very happy, you will become very emotional, you will get lots of comforts, and you will become popular in this transit. So what happens when Jupiter conjuncts with your sun? So sun is the karka of confidence, of government, of bosses, of father, of your soul, of your good health. So when this Jupiter conjuncts with sun, you become highly spiritual. You tend to go into deep consciousness before you take any decision. You are in the good books of your bosses, and you get father's help during this time. You get a lot of fame, you get a lot of success. So it's all about good health, happiness, and success with this transit. But you do become very arrogant also with this transit, because Jupiter is also about ego. So sun is also about ego, and Jupiter will boost that ego. So you have to be careful about that aspect of your life. Now the third thing is when you happen to have your Mars present here. So Mars is about your male energy, it's about your younger siblings, it's about land, it's about anger, it's about passion, it's also about accidents. So it's about starting something new. So lots of things comes under this. So when Jupiter transits this Mars, you may start something new, or you would be highly energetic during this time, and you can go into risky ventures, and you have to be careful about that. And just on the basis of impulse, you don't have to take any decisions. And you can buy a new piece of land with this transit. Your brothers will be helpful towards you, or they will do well during this time. Your spouse will do well during this time, and your leadership qualities would also come up and would be recognized in this transit. Now what happens when Venus is placed here and Jupiter happens to conjunct this through the transit? Venus is all about the liquid cash that you have. It's about your relationships, it's about your marriage, it's about your material comforts, it's about your artisticness. So lots of these things. So you may buy a conveyance during this time, you may fall into a relationship, or you may get married during this time, or you can have lots of liquid cash during this time. So your beauty will enhance, your interest in artistic things would also be increased in this transit. So what happens when Jupiter conjuncts with your natal Mercury? Mercury is all about intelligence, it's all about education, it's all about your friends, your skin, your cousins, your communication, and lots of these things. So when Jupiter happens to conjunct this Mercury, students who have been facing problems in their education because of the earlier presence of this Saturn in this house would find lots of relief with the transit of Jupiter. They will have good understanding with their friends, with their cousins. In their education, they will do well. Their intelligence would become much more enhanced, and they will do good overall in terms of their communication, also in terms of their expressions also. So a lot of good things are in store for the things related to Mercury. Now what happens when you happen to have Jupiter here, and Jupiter is already transiting here? So Jupiter is all about your own self, about your body fats, it's about your education, your social life, your cultural life, your wealth, and your happiness related to your family life. So when this Jupiter conjuncts this natal Jupiter, all these things will become increased, which means you will have tendency to put on weight, but since it's falling in the fiery sign, you will be able to manage it also. So it's in a way good for you. You will become much more wiser, and your interest in education will increase. You will be able to get the best of education. your wisdom will increase, your wealth will increase with this transit. And those people who are planning to have a baby, because Jupiter is also about children, can plan during this time. If those who are already having children will do well during this time. So lots of good things are in store for you with this transit. Now what happens when Saturn is present here and Jupiter is transiting? Although the transit Saturn is already here, and if your natal Saturn is also there, then this Jupiter will become very cautious. Means this Saturn is also casting its impact on this transit of Jupiter, which means you become highly cautious related to your own self, related to your happiness, related to your expression, related to your children, related to your wealth. You will take decisions with lot of contemplations, with lot of thoughts. Now what is this Saturn significator of? It's the significator of your career, of your hard work, of your sufferings. And when this Jupiter happens to conjunct with this Saturn, your sufferings will come down, your hard work will become much more fruitful, your career part will also start showing results, which means you will get a upliftment in your career, and you can happen to have some new projects which will come up in your career. And one more thing, whenever a transit Saturn and a transit Jupiter happens to come in one sign together, which is a very good thing to have, because it is believed that when these two karmic and this blessing planet, they are together in the transit, they will start a project. Whatever work you happen to do during this time will run throughout your life, which will be a blessing for you. And those people who are planning to start a new business or want to get married, or anything new that they want to start, they can do so between November till January 2020, from November 2019 till January, because at this particular time Jupiter and Saturn are together in the sign of Sagittarius, and whatever new work you start will be very fruitful throughout your life. So this is one part which you should keep in mind. Now talking about Rahu, which is already present here in your natal chart, and Jupiter coming here and conjuncting with that. So Rahu is not a good thing to be with Jupiter, because it will cause eclipse on this Jupiter. So Rahu is all about confusions, it's all about fluctuations, it's also about being cheated, being deceived, and it's also about being shrewdness. So when Jupiter comes with this, it can fluctuate things related to Jupiter. You can get cheated with this Rahu's conjunction. Your weight can go upside down, and your children will sometimes do very well, sometimes they will be in a very base kind of mood. So your wealth would also fluctuate. So you have to be careful with this transit. But the good thing is that suppose your natal Rahu is at 15 degree and this Jupiter is at 5 degree currently entering to Sagittarius. So it will be affected by this Rahu until it is within the degrees of Rahu. Once it crosses the degree of Rahu, this Rahu will not be able to cast its impact on Jupiter. So after Jupiter crosses the mark of 15 degrees, it will start showing you good results. So you can't ignore this fact. So next is what happens when Ketu is already present and Jupiter is coming in the transit. So Ketu is also going to cause its eclipse on this Jupiter, and Ketu is all about detachment, it's all about introversion, it's all about research, it's all about spirituality. So when this Jupiter happens to come under the eclipse of Ketu, you will be too much socially withdrawn and you would be too much into introversion. You would not like to meet many people. You would be engrossed in your studies, deep studies. Those people who are into occult practices, they will really do well with this transit, and those people who want to do meditations can really do serious kind of meditation with this transit. So once this Jupiter has crossed the degrees of Ketu, it will start showing its positive results. So currently the transit Ketu is also there, so lots of Sagittarians must be feeling this kind of introversion and seclusion in their lives ever since this Ketu came here, and this is going to stay here for another 1 year's time, and Jupiter is also here up till December 2020, from starting from 5th November 2019. So friends, these are some of the things which you can observe during the transit of Jupiter when you have some natal planet present in your Sagittarius sign. So I hope this video will be of use to you, and if you have liked my video, I would request you to subscribe to my channel, because I will be coming up with more interesting videos which will be of use to you in your practical sense. So I'll see you with something else in my next video. Until then, bye friends.